Welcome to The Stranger Within by Kimberly Tracy. We had left off where Hannah just finished telling her mother that she thinks someone pushed her sister Jenna, that it was not an accident. Chapter 6. The tension in the vehicle could be felt for miles. As Hannah looked over, Ma's face said it all. Her droopy eyes showed signs of little sleep. Her frown showed the sorrow felt inside, but her eyes said it all. The heartbreak lay deep inside, and shock shot through them. Hannah could imagine all the thoughts that were racing through Ma's mind. Jenna did not commit suicide, but she was alone. She was having difficulties. Who could have done this to her then? Why would someone want to do this to her? Who would want to do this to Jenna? These were all thoughts that Hannah had speculated herself over the past few days. These were the nightmares that kept her up all night lately. Ma, Hannah said in a questioning tone. Ma, what are you thinking? Unsure why she even asked the question once it came out. It's not like her ma would just spill out every thought that crossed her mind. No, Ma would think long and hard about what she said before responding. Ma, she said impatiently, still hoping to get a response from her. The tension was growing thicker in the air. Hannah, what are you suggesting? Asked Maud rather harshly while trying to gather her thoughts. She kept her head straight ahead, looking at the road without even moving her head towards Hannah. It was difficult for Maud to focus with everything that had been going on. It seemed like one bad thing after another ever since the accident. Maud did not have time to analyze the situation that Hannah had presented. She needed an explanation and the truth from her daughter. Ma, something just feels off about that night. I can't explain it, but I can feel it. Hannah tried to explain. She knew that this conversation would not be easy, especially since she did not even have the working theory yet. How do you tell someone, your mother especially, that you think someone had a hand in your sister's death? She wondered. That you knew her better than anyone and knew she would never do anything of the sorts. Before even realizing it, she blurted out, I just know Jenna would not have jumped into the river on her own or in her new clothes on top of it. Ma gave Hannah a look that could freeze time before responding. I do not know what you are thinking. I know that you want to believe the best of your sister, but making up stories is not going to change anything. Ma was not going to buy into Hannah's thoughts on her sister's death without more evidence. She clearly was beginning to become annoyed with Hannah's opinions on the subject. Ma believed the police report, and it would take a lot to change her mind. But Ma, Hannah started, whining before being cut off. It was clear that the tension had reached its breaking point, and Ma had enough. Hannah could barely protest the situation. No, we're not going to make a speculation about this, Ma said firmly. I do not want to hear any more about this. Hannah could not tell if Ma was angry with her or the thought that it could have been something more horrible than an accidental suicide. Most likely, Ma just wanted to forget it happened and move on. The two of them sat in silence for the rest of the ride home without even looking at each other. Hannah was not sure how to talk to Ma after hearing her tone. For a moment, she wondered, was this what had become of Ma after losing Dad? Is this why Jenna was unhappy? Is this what she wanted to talk about that night? She hoped to be wrong, that there was a logical explanation for what had occurred. Hannah knew that she needed more concrete evidence to support her theory before approaching Ma with it again. Unsure where to begin, Hannah goes back to that night again, back to the moment that the limo driver had disappeared. She digs deep into her memory, trying to bring back the image in her mind. Taking in a deep breath, Hannah is back to that night. She remembers the limo driver leaning against a tree. She searches for any new details she can find, trying to recall what the driver was wearing. Hannah begins to wander off in her mind. Shorts. Athletic shorts, to be specific, she recalls. Next, she tries to focus on the color of shorts, not sure what details will matter in the end. Dark blue? No black. No navy blue. She cannot make up her mind. Trying to reach the depths of her mind, Hannah thinks harder. Black shorts. Attempting to find another clue, she continues the search of her mind. Then she realizes that the limo driver was wearing a case on his upper right arm. From her distance, it looked like the case was to protect the phone from water. Jenna had one for her when she ran in the rain. Just then, Ma and Hannah pulled into the driveway. The stop of the vehicle shook Hannah from her thoughts. Ma pushed the garage door opener and waited before pulling forward. She placed the vehicle in park and rolled up the windows. Without saying a word to each other, both exited the vehicle and headed into the house. The house was quiet without Jenna there. Normally, you would walk into music playing over a Bluetooth speaker and Jenna bouncing around dancing. Thinking of happier times, Hannah smiled slightly. Both set down their belongings on the kitchen countertop. Hannah looks at Ma before heading up to the stairs into the room. Hannah walks over to her closet and looks in the full-length mirror. Her hair looks a mess, probably from moving around in the hospital bed while she was there. Her body feels sticky from sweating over the last couple of days. She decides that she needs to take a shower to wash off the sweat from the other day and to tame her hair. She moves towards the dresser to collect her undergarments and shorts from a drawer. Then she selects a shirt from her closet and removes it from the hanger. Hannah then puts on her bathrobe before heading towards the restroom. Hannah desperately wanted to wash away the past week, wash away everything since that horrible night. Unfortunately, she knew this was not possible. Hannah closes the restroom door behind herself. As she enters the room, she pulls open the shower curtain and kneels down to turn on the water. First, she turns on the hot water, then the cold water. After a few moments, she turns on the shower. The sound of the shower hitting the wall creates a rhythm that Hannah finds relaxing. As the water heats up, she prepares for her shower. She hangs her bathrobe on the back of the door, then undresses. She leans into the shower to feel the water temperature, and it is perfectly warm for her. She opens up the shower curtain, then ensures she has shampoo and soap before entering the shower. Allowing the water to pour over her body, Hannah already begins to feel more at ease. She leans backward into the water, allowing it to saturate her hair. She grabs the shampoo and begins cleansing her hair. She allows the water to wash over her head as the shampoo rinses out. While the water washes over her face, Hannah listens to the rhythmic sounds and begins to drift off. She finds herself back to that night, the night where it all went wrong. Back at the window, staring out at the limo driver, flashing to the moment he exits the station wagon and walks towards the tree. Hannah digs into her memory again in search of new clues, recalling the limo driver by the tree, watching him lean against it. She watches his movements, trying to notice if she's missing anything. Digging deeper, Hannah focuses on the clothes of the limo driver. She recalls the black shorts, the case on his upper right arm. Trying to reach the depths of her memory, Hannah digs deeper. What kind of shirt is he wearing, wonders Hannah. She tries to focus on his clothes, but gets distracted by the case on his arm. Focusing harder, she notices that he has on a sleeveless tank top that is also black. Why is he wearing all black, ponders Hannah. She continues to think hard about the limo driver and his clothes. Next, she tries to focus on his shoes. Maybe she can determine more based on the shoes. Hannah goes back to the moment the limo driver exited the station wagon the first time and walked to the black. She tries to think harder about that moment, tries to push through the fogginess to find a clue. Just as Hannah was about to give up, she remembers that the limo driver had on white sneakers at this time. She remembers because the brightness of the shoes stood out against the dirt on the road darkness. Hannah then decides to push forward, thinking hard about if she was missing any other clues. She recalls the limo driver entering the station wagon again, the movements he made while exiting the station wagon again. Then him walking towards the tree. Wait, there it is, thinks Hannah, as she realizes that the shoes are now different from before. The limo driver's shoes no longer stood out. In fact, it was as if he did not have shoes on at all. They must be black, she deciphers. Hannah begins to feel overheated and decides it's best to leave the shower, not completely sure if it was the warm water or her new discovery that caused her to heat up. Once exiting the shower, she grabs her towel off of the toilet. As she begins to dry off, her mind wanders in thoughts. What was Jenna doing out there so late? Did the limo driver go there knowing Jenna would be there? Were the two of them friends? How old was the limo driver anyway? Why was the limo driver wearing all black? Hannah felt more lost now than ever before. She was filled with more questions than answers. She still feels a little warm even after being out of the shower for a minute. Hannah? Ma shouted up the stairway. Are you coming down for dinner? Hannah must have spaced out longer than she noticed if it was already dinner time. She grabs her phone off the countertop to look at the clock. 3:40. Why is she already asking about dinner, she pondered. Hannah. Yeah, Ma, let me know when it's ready, she responded. Knowing that she would have at least an hour before dinner was ready, Hannah changed quickly. I need to find something, she thinks while walking towards the room. As she enters the room, Hannah glances over at the window and shivers, thinking of that night. If only I would have called to warn Jenna, she thinks. Hannah still felt responsible for what happened to her little sister, even if there was nothing she could have done to protect her, to save her. Hannah begins to view Jenna's side of the room more closely than ever before. She looks over Jenna's vision board and sees pictures of her at the stables. She had a few different photographs of her favorite horse. There were a couple of photographs of Jenna with her best friend from elementary school. Hannah then looked at Jenna's computer desk. It was covered with a stack of papers, some school books, lined paper, a couple of highlighters, and one of pens. Hannah sat at the desk and began to flip through the stack of papers. Mixed in the stack of papers were college applications, financial aid information, completed study guides for finals, and a list of places to visit on the summer road trip the girls planned on taking the next year. Why would Jenna have these things if she wanted to end her life? She still could not shake the feeling that she had all those nights ago, the feeling she tried to describe to Ma earlier in the day. She knew something about her sister's death was wrong, that the police were wrong. Moving over towards the dresser, Hannah begins to view the mess on top. There is an old birthday card standing up, a phone stand, some jewelry thrown about, prescription bottles, and body spray, among other things. Hannah picked up the prescription bottles and began to read what Jenna was taking. Paroxetine, ketamine. What are these for, she wonders. She walks over to her nightstand and grabs her phone to look up the drugs. As she is researching, she discovers that they are both types of antidepressants. Upon continuing to read, she realizes that one of the side effects is an increase of suicidal thoughts. No wonder Jenna was having difficulties, Hannah thought. If her medication was supposed to be helping her, but instead was making matters worse, maybe she did commit suicide. Stop. Focus. Hannah reminds herself. She set down the prescription bottles on the dresser and moves on. If she were to hide something, she may put it in the drawers. Hannah begins rummaging through Jenna's dresser drawers, not sure what she is looking for. After going through each drawer, she comes up empty-handed. Hannah tries to think back to that night again, back to the moment she entered the room before trying to go to sleep. That's when she remembers Jenna was on her laptop that night. She was working on typing up something on the laptop. But what, Hannah wonders. She begins to dig deeper into that memory, focusing on the laptop, trying to see if she recalls what Jenna did with it afterwards. No luck, but she distinctly remembers that Jenna did not get off the bed. Hannah decides to walk over to Jenna's bed and begin searching for it. Hannah found Jenna's laptop tucked away under her bed where it was left that night. She decided to get to the bottom of what happened. She needed to know what Jenna was so vigorously typing that night. She opened up the laptop and waited for it to start. Unfortunately, the laptop must have been dead because it would not start. Next, Hannah had to find the charger. She looks around the bedside but does not see the charger. She opens up the top drawer of the nightstand. More random papers are shoved in the drawer, but no charger. She walks back towards the desk and looks inside the drawer. Bingo, she thinks while pulling the charger out of the first drawer. Hannah moves quickly to plug in the laptop, eager to see what she finds. She patiently sits on the bed waiting for the startup screen to appear. Updates. Are you kidding me? Hannah frustratedly thinks. This seems to be a long waiting game for her, but in reality, it only took a few minutes. Password protected, of course, she thought. What would Jenna have used? Hannah tried her birthday, no luck. Hannah begins to look around her sister's side of the room for hints towards the password. She spots a few photos of Jenna with her best friend. She tries her best friend's name. No luck. Still looking around the room, she realizes how much horse stuff Jenna has. Then she tries the name of her sister's favorite horse from the stables. Bingo, Hannah thinks once it begins to log in. Looking at the screen, there were not any files open. She decides to look into her sister's files to see if there was anything recently written. As she scrolls through the list, she sees that Jenna stopped using Microsoft Word about 6 months ago. Where and what was she typing? Hannah pondered. Next, Hannah decides to look at Jenna's history on Google and recently closed tabs. The search proved to be successful. She found a link for Blogspace. Upon further investigation, Hannah discovered that is a platform for people to write blogs. What was Jenna blogging about, she wondered. Hannah continues searching the laptop, trying to gain access to the blog page, wondering if there's a way to follow Jenna's post. She begins searching the web. How to open the blog space, she types in her search bar. While looking through the pages that were found, she could not find any useful information. Then she decides to search how to follow others' blog space. This search proves to generate better pages for her. There is a page that walks through the process of creating an account. Once you have an account, you are able to follow other pages. Hannah starts the process of creating an account, finally feeling like she is onto something. Once her account was set up, Hannah began searching for her sister's page to view. Hannah, dinner is ready, Ma shouted up the stairway. Just when Hannah thought she was getting somewhere, she had to stop. If she did not go down for dinner, Ma would start to worry about her, especially after her hospital stay. She shut down the laptop and decided that she would return to it after dinner. Once the laptop finished shutting down, Hannah safely secured it under Jenna's bed. She headed out the room and towards the stairs. She was eager to get through dinner as quickly as possible so she could continue her investigation. Coming, Mom, Hannah responded as she descended the stairs. Once reaching the bottom, she turned into the kitchen. Ma had prepared a tuna casserole for them. Comfort food, thought Hannah. Ma would often make casseroles in times of grief or illness as a means to warm the soul. This did not surprise Hannah after the short conversation they had on the drive home. Hannah could still feel the coldness in the air. She knew that there was not time to talk to Ma about what she recalled about that night. She would have to uncover the truth behind the limo driver and why he was there that night first. Then she would have the pieces she needed to form a solid theory of what happened. End. Thank you again. If you enjoyed, please like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to continue to get notifications of when the next chapter will release. Thank you as always, and have a wonderful day. Bye.